congratulations. Did you ever lose faith that you had something like that in you?
No, never. I think spoken plenty of times about me and going out there and having my back up against the wall and just being out of runs, and I've always said it frequently, and that's pretty much as it is. I spoke about in the nets. I wish I could get out a little bit more, so actually give me something when I'm out there. So I think this game, I spoke about in the press leading in was more about looking to score and instead of trying to defend when I was out there, and I was able to do that. And look, I'm in a happy place, as I have been pretty much for a long time now.
It almost seemed it was meant to be, being the 100th tests and everything else that had happened. Did you feel like it was almost meant to be, or what did it feel like when you actually got through the barriers and got to those milestones?
I would have liked some runs in the West Indies series. It was almost leading up into this 100th test that I could probably score some runs. But look, for me, as I said, it was about being out of runs and never out of form. I was always moving well in the nets. I think if you keep going back into the nets and keep searching for things that aren't there, you start thinking, is my game actually, am I out of form? But I'm definitely not. And I had my chances this game. I made the most of it. I've put them on the back foot, as I spoke about beforehand in my pre-interview with Fox about taking it to the bowlers and looking to score instead of trying to get in and use my defence. My attack's the best form of defence, so I was able to do that this game.
More about the emotional side of it as well. Like what did it mean once you played it? But because of everything that happened, did it kind of mean almost more?
I think because it was my 100th test, yeah, probably. Having my family and friends here and doing it in front of them was very special. Usually we've just got my kids and my wife here, but to have everyone come down for it, some close friends that have flown in for it as well, it is a very, very special time. I'm just glad that they were able here to witness that on Boxing Day.
Do you just that moment when you get to 200 and get down on your knees and do that? When you get up and then leave, can you just take us through the whole theatre of it, and then it took you 7-8 minutes to have it off?
I only did the one on my knees because I knew I couldn't jump, and then I said, stuff it, I'm going to try and jump. And lo and behold, my calf went on me. That was the last thing to go on me, and that was it. I had absolutely nothing. It started in my adductors early on. I had some pickle juice, and then my forearm went first. I took my arm guard off that I normally wear, and it just started going through the whole entire body. I think I swept one, then my hamstring went. And then from there, it was horrible. It was a horrible feeling. I've never experienced those kind of cramps before, and if you could have a camera in the change room for the next hour after I was off, it was comical.
So can I just ask you about, you spoke about before this game, going back to your old self and being aggressive. Now that it's come off, do you stick to it? Do you just start batting like David Warner or wherever you go?
Yeah, 100%. I think you go back to last year against England, I thought the Gabba was probably one of the best innings that I've played for a long time. I left patiently. I couldn't drive anything on that wicket. The poor curators had tough times the last 2 years, but for us it's about adapting to what's in front of us. So I was just thinking to myself, so be it. If I'm gonna go down swinging, I might as well go out playing a cover drive and nick off rather than defending and getting caught at third slip. It's one of those things that I've always had in the back of my mind. Just go out there and play that way, and I've always done that in Australia. But I've probably I wouldn't say tentative is the wrong word. I think I've allowed myself to go a bit defensive instead of actually looking to score because of the wickets. So, you look at the way that Travis Head's come out and played his natural game, and he managed to do that last year against England in Hobart. He's done it continuously now through this summer as well, and it's about just having that comfort of backing yourself. And I always do that, but I felt a sense of responsibility to actually adapt to the wicket and conditions that were in front of me. But now it's just going back to just looking to score, and then my defence will take care of itself.
Do you think it's the best not be intrigued, considering all the circumstances, the heat, the bowling attack that you faced?
I think now looking back, I think I look back at the Indian game, where they were bowled out for 180 in Perth. But I think now that I've played 100 games, and people talking about retirement and, could be my last innings, whatnot. Yeah, you can probably say it is. I'd say the way that I went about it, with that pressure behind me, I think it'd have to be, definitely one of my best innings for sure.
Okay. There's a lot of big talk about sort of the emotional toll that's been you and your family, everything leading up to this point. To see the enjoyment that you've got and so many people have got from this innings, going forward into the last 12, 18 months of your test career, do you feel like you want to cruise a little bit more and maybe try and avoid those sort of running battles with CA and that sort of stuff to really embrace this enjoyment and what you can produce over the next little period? Or is that part of who you are and is that part of what gets you going and how you get your best?
I'm not looking to pick fights with CA, that's for sure. I'm just glad that whatever's happened has been dealt with. It was just poor timing. I've said it before. It was written to them in February, and to come out and talk about it just before a big test series, like it is what it is. We're over that part now. We're moving on. I still haven't sat down with Nick or them to talk about it after what was happened. That can happen in due course. I'm in the right frame mind now, to keep performing if I can, as well as I can, moving into Sydney, hopefully win 3-0 and secure a spot in that Test Championship final.
David, now that you've sort of shown at age 36 that the skill set, is it just finding motivation from here on that's the challenge, and is sort of India and England enough motivation to push on?
We should stop telling me my age, but I don't feel 36. As I said before out there, I'm running faster than a lot of these youngsters in here. So when they catch up to me, then I might think about pulling the pin. But look, I think the extra motivation for me is winning in India and completely winning a series in England. I've been told by the coach and the selectors they would like me to be there. Obviously, there was a lot of stuff before this series going on through my mind. Was there doubts here? Of course there was doubts in my mind. But for me, it was about just going out there and knowing that I've still got that hunger and determination, because every time I rock up the training, I've got it. And people keep telling me, you'll know when it's time, and I haven't really felt that at all yet. So I'm still enjoying it. I still know what energy I can bring to the team. I think once I start losing that spark and energy around training and, taking the mickey out of people, playing some jokes here and there and pranks, I think that's when I probably know it's time.
What about even the way you run between leg and state? Like, I imagine that probably contributed to you cramping there. Like you're sprinting.
I know.
Is that something you can change? India's a hot place to play cricket. Even if it's not bad, are there things that you have to change about the way you bat to extend your career?
I'd like to say yes, but in India the ball will just travel to the fence and you don't really have to run. It's hard as a rock, the outfield, and unfortunately in Australia we've got 85-metre boundaries with contrast between grass. I don't know, it's Cooch and Rye, whatever it is. So it's as you see out there, like you hit one out the middle and you've got to run for sometimes. So no, in India it's a bit different, and the same as England. Like it's just what we do. We train for that. We train to run hard and try and turn those, those ones into twos if we can. So no, it won't be any different. I do remember Bangladesh though in Chittagong. That was a slow outfield, but that was probably hotter than here. But we didn't have to do as much running between wickets.
You said that the coaches and selectors have indicated that they want you there, and you said that you're motivated. Just to clarify, you definitely want to be in India or England, just for the record.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely.
And just very clear, did you have to make up with Marnus after the run out?
Well, he's hung up a shirt in there on my 100th, David Warner's 100th test, thanks for the barbecue. So I have to sign it for it. So he said we'll put a picture or a video up later, and you can see that at Marnus, whatever his number is.
Dave, you batted like a bloke unburdened. Was part or how much of that was the whole rumbling behind the scenes with the captaincy and all that sort of stuff, and how much was it just a different mindset? I think it takes its toll mentally. I think like when we play big series, like you play an Ashes series or when you go to India or the whole build-up and suspense. Like we've gone through a World Cup and then we're going into a Test series without playing any red ball cricket as well. And then I've got all that in the background happening. I get a message the night before a Test. Like these are things that you don't want
in the back of your mind. Then day 2, waking up, a lawyer texts you about something that has to be spoken about. These are things that, you don't want on your mind when you're going to training or you're going to the game. So for me, it was just trying to get in the right frame of mind, and I just couldn't. It was difficult. And then when you're out in the middle, you're trying to be as positive as you can. And as I said, I was hitting him as well as I thought I could, but I was just getting no luck. And you make your own luck in this game. The game owes you nothing. And, as I said, fortunate enough, this game, it actually paid off, which I'm really happy about.
So you can feel a clear difference then, having made the decision, right, I'm going to stop all that, I'm going to put it behind me.
Yep.
You feel different?
Yep, 100%. That's all parked now. I don't have to worry about that, not even thinking about it. Now it's about, as I said, focus is now towards Sydney and getting myself right for BBL.
Dave,
What are you laughing at? I can't take you seriously with that hat on.
I went through a question just on Scotty Boland, and
Build the man a statue.
I mean his average has sort of taken a bit of a cult following in itself. I mean, is that a bit of a discussion in the rooms? I mean, not often you see a player hovering around the 8 to 12s.
We laugh about it in the slips court, and it's a funny thing because we don't usually talk about averages or anything like that, but the boys are actually taking a keen eye on his average. It's amazing that when you get a bowler that gets a ball in his hand, you think he's going to get a wicket every ball. It's ridiculous. Like in slips, we're waiting there. The keepers, we're so switched on, waiting for that nick because we know it's coming. It's a weird feeling, but look, he's been unbelievable. Like he's been absolutely superb, and moving forward, it's going to be tough decisions for the selectors. That's for sure.
David, I think I'm right in saying you were the first person to publicly coin the term Ron Ball, and I think since then the
That's
team's
big.
pretty much been undefeated in Test series of the past 18 months. How do you define Ron Ball, and is it some sort of response to England ahead of an Ashes series?
Yeah, as you saw the strike rates this game, look at Gaz, 25 off 17. Heady's still over 100, I think he is. Alex Carey was high. I think with Ron Ball, we have a lot of Ron meetings as well. So that's another one. We cause a lot of meetings for no reason, a lot of frivolous meetings. But it's a great thing. We've got a New Zealander in Dan Vittori, who's obviously best mates is coach of New Zealand. So yeah, I think that's sort of flagged through him, I think, and that's why we call it Ron Ball. I can't give you the actual method of how we're going to play. But I think in due course, when we land in England, you'll probably get a definitive answer from all of us.
Just a quick one on the SCG wicket. You played the ODI there, you played a lot of games there, I think, you personally this year, but I don't know if you saw the game last night. It has been super dry, lots of variable bounce. It's obviously a big shift from Gabba to here to there. What do you think about trying to prepare for that as a batter?
Yeah, I'm not too sure because obviously the wickets at the back as well are very, very nice wickets. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I'm not too sure. I saw a couple were relayed, and I think he might have changed his decision which wicket he's going to play on as well. So it does look bare. Curators have had a challenge this year with the World Cup. I respect that, but it might be a chance for 2 spinners if the selectors want to go that way. Not sure how that wicket will play, if it's going to be up and down or if it might be, we call it pancaking, which is the big craters, which could be the old SCG, which would be cool. But yeah, it's going to be hard to prepare for, that's for sure, because the practice wickets are so good.
Come on, here, and we'll finish up over the back.
David, Pat and Mitch were in before talking about how much care and celebration there is amongst this team and what's been achieved in the last 12 to 18 months. You've played over 100 tests with some of the greats to play cricket for this country. Where does this team sit in terms of some of the best that you've played with, and how much do you love being a part of the environment?
Yeah, look, when I first started and, had guys like Ricky and Mike Hussey and Watto and the rest of them, it was awesome. Like, it was great. I was walking into a change room full of, stars, like guys that I've idolised, and from then to now being a senior, like it's almost like I've walked back into that change room again. We've got a great core bunch of people, and I'm sure like Ricky and Huss and them would have said the same thing when they left. Like that was their core, and this is where we are now. It's a core group that's pretty stuck together. We're very solid. The selectors have obviously showed faith in probably the 15 that you can see that they're constantly picking for the squads. And that just shows the quality of the people that are here as well. So, we've got a lot of cricket ahead of us, but we know in tough times, we've been through COVID and whatnot, we've stuck together really, really well. I think Pakistan really brought us even more together because we're pretty much, under one banner the whole time. But this team's got a great thing happening at the moment, and obviously it's showing the leadership through the bowling attack as well, and obviously led by our skipper Paddy.
Last one.
You had a whole 8 minutes the other day, man.
Oh, that was about the India tour. I mean, nobody knows about India as much as you, the condition and the 4 venues have been announced. How much of that are you going to start passing on already to the rest? And do you see this being one of the best chances for an Australian team to win there?
Shall I start the headlines now before we go over there?
Yeah.
I did remember someone talking about a 2-day test the other week. So, look, it's going to be interesting. We know what we're going to prepare for. They're going to be turning wickets. But it's different, obviously, with the venues. Obviously, Nagpur and Delhi, quite dry. And then Dharamshala, that time of the year, we played there. We probably should have won that test. We lost it ourselves. There's going to be times where it's going to be challenging over there, but it's about how our batters can build and bat big like we did in Pakistan. And I think that's going to be our greatest challenge. I think with the ball, we're going to probably do a fantastic job. We've obviously got a world-class spinner, Nathan Lyon. Going to have to obviously think about potentially playing 2 spinners. So for us as a batting group, it's going to be a challenge, but we're going to have to find a way and a method like we did in Pakistan to get through that. And obviously with Sri Lanka, we had good methods over there, and we saw in that first test in Gaul, everyone was playing reverse sweeps. Everyone had a method and they stuck to it. So I think moving to India, it's going to be probably a batter's battle, I reckon.